of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced, nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. On this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. Matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
You're so beautiful. Your eyes, your legs, even your hands.
Chad, no.
I'll take you away from all of this. We'll be together.
What about Clayton?
What about him? Can he make you feel
Eileen, I've been trying to reach you all day.
No, you're
the
not
phone's
complete
been busy.
I'm watching this.
You're never going to believe what happened today.
No.
I got invites for the Fontaine reception tonight.
I just couldn't do that to him.
You could do that to yourself? Stay with somebody like...
Hey! Fine.
Look, I got them at work. They want me to cover the party.
To dig up trash for that paper, you mean?
Okay, so I don't write for the best paper in town.
Yeah, I like the Elvis Monument on Mars piece. Now that was darn fine journalism.
It's just a job, that's all. You make it sound like I'm branded for life. Exploitation trash writer. Don't you see what this party means? It's an opportunity to meet people. People who can make a difference.
Right, another opportunity, like all the rest. I don't even know why I'm here. It never changes.
Eileen, this is something important.
Important to you. My life revolves around what's important to you. I'm tired of it, living in this dump and dealing with Benjamin Brandt's dreams.
Well, thanks a lot for all your support. At least I'm trying. Trying to do something with my life.
What's that supposed to mean? Like I'm not doing anything with mine? Is that it?
Eileen. This mean you're not going to the party?
Ravenous, just ravenous at night. The mosquitoes were like blood-sucking harpies. Without protection, they'd eat you alive. I never forget the blood-curdling sound I heard in the middle of the night. I went to investigate. It was the voices of the dead, the spirits. The natives were playing their sacred flutes, dressed in a pile of shredded palm leaves with large coconut heads and even larger bug-like eyes. They swayed around the smoke and fire, more like an inferno. And in a frenzy, they played those ghostly pipes. It was mesmerizing. The music grew to an almost metaphysical realm. Apparently, it was a death ritual. A child had died some months earlier. One doesn't encounter the spirits of the Haas Tamaran and think of coming off with a mere scratch.
Headhunters. Aren't they still there in New Guinea?
What, Roland? Looking for work?
Possibly. In some remote corners of the island, you might find a disembodied head in the hut. They used to export them, you know, for souvenirs. But that ended with World War II.
What savages.
Gruesome.
Make an interesting book, Montgomery.
Yes. Have you thought about writing one?
I'm not a writer. I'd need a good right-hand man. The written word is an art form that requires that distinction.
I'm a writer.
Really? I'm very fond of literature. That's why I've never written any. Mr. Thompson?
Brandt, actually. Ben Brandt. You know, I've read about adventures, but from what I've heard, they're not half the man you are.
Have we read anything you've done, Mr. Brandt?
Well, probably not. I've done mostly ghostwriting.
The supernatural? I just love Stephen King, even though it's popular.
Jonelle, I never know when to take you seriously. Actually, aren't you with... what paper is it? National Uni?
Ennui. Yeah, well, it just pays the bills while I do my serious writing.
Really?
If you're serious about writing your story, I'd be glad to help.
Well, if I need a good right hand, I'll call you sometime.
Well, nice meeting you all.
Hey, you can't come and get this like I want.
Hey, do you know who I am? Hey!
Really, Mr. Fontaine, you can't be serious.
That so-called paper is the worst piece of journalism I have...
Now, most people have mortgages to pay. I can't judge a person on the necessities of life forces on the working man.
Montgomery, do I detect a hint of bleeding heart liberal?
Hardly. Speaking of blood, have I ever told you about my visit to the Kolish tribe in Pakistan? They're the direct descendants of the warriors of Alexander the Great, you know. And they have blood all over the place. They play football with a live goat.
Eileen! I met Montgomery Fontaine, and he needs a hand. Told ya.
China's comets, menacing revenge, and casts a pale complexion on his cheeks. As when the seaman sees the Hyades gather an army of Cimmerian clouds, Auster and Aquilon with winged steeds, all sweating tilt about the watery heavens, with shivering spears enforcing thunderclaps, and with their shields strike flames of lightning. All fearful folds his sails, and sounds the main, lifting his prayers to the heavens for aid against the terror of the winds and waves.
Please be seated.
Beautiful, isn't it? Brought it from New Guinea. Some think it's morbid, but I enjoy it for the shock value.
Very effective.
It reminds me that we're part of the living, part of the whole.
Sounds like a good angle for the book. Thanks for meeting with me so soon.
Can I offer you a drink?
No, thanks. I was hoping we could get
Something
started.
special I brought from the Philippines. A palm drink. It's very popular in the barrios.
Oh, well, sure.
Bring in the refreshments I prepared. In all my travels, I found out one thing about nature.
What's that?
It's very quick, decisive, and cruel. Survival of the fittest.
I brought samples of my work.
We have time enough for that later. This is Belize. I went there recently looking for jaguar. All I found was a fer de lance.
What's that?
A poisonous snake. It camouflages itself so well that you don't know you've stepped on it until it bites you.
Really?
Over 12 feet long. It got me in the right hand.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing.
Sounds like you've been pretty lucky, considering. Very good. Kind of like thick peach nectar.
But with a considerable kick.
Now, about my writing credentials,
There's time enough for that.
that you'll consider me as a co-author?
I'm looking forward to your contribution.
Wow, that's great!
I warned you about that palm nectar.
Oh, I'll be all right.
You're right about my being lucky. My leg was severed in Afghanistan. Raiders out of the Walk-On Valley.
Amazing.
Brigadier General Smith was not so lucky, though. After they took me for dead, I lay there helpless and watched as they hacked off his limbs one by one. Damn it. If they'd just told us what they wanted, anything, I would have given them anything. They left us for dead in the middle of the valley. Nothing around but rocks and dust and stone. I tied a tourniquet around my leg and I crawled over to John. He was alive. How? I'll never know. Half a man. Bleeding. Dying. A proud man reduced to that. I dragged my severed leg over, reached in the boot, and I took out the revolver that I'd never had a chance to use. And I shot him. So you can say I've been lucky and not so lucky.
I don't know what to say.
I lost my eye in the Honduras.
I never would have guessed.
And my arm shattered in Uganda. Rhino poachers.
You certainly are a survivor.
Yes. Thanks to the drug.
Drug? What drug?
Well, the natives call it banguda. I discovered it in Brazil. It completely prevents all organ transplant rejection.
Incredible. Discover like that. It'd be perfect in the book.
You misunderstand me, Brent. I do want to do the book. But what I really need is a good right hand.